Hey, what's up guys? Jonathan with Control the Trade here. And already starting off to be a pretty crazy morning. You can see we made a low here in the SPY 425.89. And yeah, I mean it's already starting to recover a little bit. That looks like it could be the pre-market low, and you'll see this is really crazy. I guess I had a buy order in at 425.93. That got filled. This one looks like the lowest, I think it was 425.81 is where I was on this one, so this didn't fill. It was just adding on to the position, and we should start to see probably some resistance right here at the top of this candle at 427, and maybe the 20 period moving average on the 10-minute chart. We're looking at the 10-minute chart, by the way, which is 427.39. Might see some resistance up there, but you know, the open is in about 45 minutes, and anything can happen at the open. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of panic selling. There's going to be a lot of panic buying. Once, you know, the shorts are going to come in and they're going to try to push things down, but I could imagine that they'll get a pie in the face again because it's just not that simple. And everyone jumps on the short side when they start to panic because we haven't seen moves like this. It's been rare that we've seen moves like this. So anytime a big move down happens, everyone starts to say, this is the big one, this is it. And then the news starts blaming all sorts of things that have no correlation whatsoever, but it seems like they do. And we just have to be careful what we pay attention to. They'll start blaming COVID. They'll start blaming, which is complete. Let me go on a side note here. That's just complete nonsense. Why weren't they blaming COVID when we keep making all-time highs? It just makes absolutely no sense. They just have no idea what to assign to it. So they have to come up with something for the headlines. Otherwise, what are they good for? Why are they there? You know, why is CNBC even there if they can't give you a reason? And maybe they'll start talking. I'm not even watching CNBC. I stopped watching it a long time ago because it just clouds my judgment sometimes. And I love CNBC, don't get me wrong, but it just clouds my judgment seeing some of this stuff. You know, they'll say things like inflation, but again, all these things are already known knowns. It's not like this is a surprise. Or they'll say that the open was already baked in. You know, that's going to be the big one. I promise when we crash, which we will, that's going to be the big headline or the reason. They're not going to have a real reason. They're going to assign something with the Fed. They're going to just have to come up with something because this is just cyclical. This is just psychological. That stuff is going to be way ahead of news. Technicals lead the way. All right, so that's my little rant for the morning, and let's go ahead and look at a few tickers real quick that are moving. So we see DraftKings made a low of 41.78. DraftKings, let me look at the daily. I feel like, you know, if it gets down to say 40, that's going to be a good buy area. Actually, you can see right here 39.93 was the low from back in May. So 40 would be psychological or normal conditions support. Plus, I have a looks like I have a Fibonacci, the 618 at 39.29. So that would be an area I'd be watching too. There's just no support whatsoever on the daily chart. So this has room to move down to test these areas here. So I'm going to set some alerts down here. Probably below, let's say 41 or 40. I'm going to say 40.35. I want to see what it does. If it flushes into that number, maybe 40 is good support. But if it trickles down into this zone, then I'm just going to have to wait because there's, you know, you need the volume and you need the price activity for it to mean anything. Oops. I just want to share the stream. I just forgot I didn't do that. I don't know if this is even getting picked up on the video or not. Whoops. Oh, it's making me log in. Okay. One second, guys. Alright, so that's DKNG. Also, Pen is on the move. Just looking for anything that's on the move. You can see this has been in complete free fall. God, there was so many FOMO buyers up here. You can see we had a nice, probably a reversal candle right here. You could call that, you could definitely call it a reversal candle now. Once we lost the 50-day moving average, it's just been hovering even under the 20. So it's been struggling to even recapture the 20, which is this blue line. So I would want to see if it starts to get back up in this area here. You could have a good short-term opportunity, but right now this is it's in a long-term uptrend, but a short-term hard downtrend. Oops. You can see by the weekly chart, we've even lost some of the weekly moving averages. So, I mean, this could easily pull all the way back to in the 40s, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's look at the monthly. So here's a great area of support. This is 59.25, so I'm setting an alert right here above that. I'd be a buyer in that area because I would expect there to be other buyers there. 61.10. So I'm really looking to see if this starts to break below 60, 61, and then we'll have a really nice possibility of a trade right here in the 59.25 area. Maybe it's going to be a little above that, maybe 59.50 up to 60. We won't know till we get there. So that's a really good one to have kind of put on the radar there. Let me see what else. I'm checking my phone. It's a little easier to see some of the tickers that are moving. Let's look at CCL. It's another one a lot of people follow. This chart's been ugly for a very long time, since the March 20 bludgeoning. So you can see we have this. This is a monthly chart. So a long-term chart is really ugly. We have not been able to close above 33, 34. You can see we tested it pretty close. The high of this candle here was 31.52. We just never quite made it into that area, and now we're really starting to melt down hard. Your next line is in the sand here is about 18.50, which is right here. And let me see here. So that would actually be a really good area to buy today. I haven't seen what the pre-market looks like at or below. Let's just do 20. And then I'm setting another alert. I don't know if you can see my alerts. I'm going to create an alert also below 19. If I don't set these alerts, I mean, it's just impossible to keep up with these. Let's look at the weekly chart. Maybe we'll get some more clues there. Yeah, look, we broke the 50-week moving average too, which is 22. So that's definitely bearish. And the daily, probably don't even look at that. That's in free fall mode. We broke the 200 period moving average. So CCL is in no man's land. There's a gap here, so that's interesting. 2060 in the open. So about 2065. Let's see where we are pre-market right now. That could be another area of interest. CCL. Let's see. Oh, it's already out below that in pre-market, so that wasn't an important area for it. It's got another destination in mind. Most likely it hit 1962 pre-market, so there we go. And let's see if we have any other gaps here. Here's a 1945. Nope, that's not a gap. Here we go. 1880, and then we opened at 1922. The low is 1898, so 1880 is another area of interest. We're pretty close to there right now. So I'm going to set another alert. So CCL definitely should be on your radar today. A lot of interest in this one. Probably still a lot of short interest. A lot of shorts got crushed on this one. Trying to guess. They're going to use this as an excuse too about reopening. They'll just say, they'll make some excuse about Corona. That's why it's going down. But really look how bearish this chart is. That's why I would, the chart is extremely bearish first. And then they assign the issue to it. It's been bearish. Until we get above the high of this candle, this thing it's going to be really ugly. It could go much lower. So I'd also want to set an alert above these candles for the bull case. Let's look at a couple more things. I gotta get ready for the open, which is less than 30 minutes away. 1 second. Alright, let's look at a couple more tickers here before the open. Just get ready. How about UAL? That's kind of in the same boat as CCL, and the chart looks the same too. I gotta get rid of some of these lines here. The chart looks very similar, and you can see we never closed above the high of this candle, 63.53. Did we test it almost? Yeah, look at that. 63.70 was the high. Never closed above it. So now we're going back down. I have to update these Fibonacci retracements, but it's funny that it fell right on this one, 45.43. Let's look at a weekly. Let me get rid of these for now. I gotta make some new ones. That one, I don't even know why it's there. Removed wrong. Okay. So we're sitting right on the 50-week moving average, 46.18, and we closed below it. That is bearish. That was a bearish close, so now we're seeing that now in pre-market. Let's see where it is pre-market right now. 1 second. UAL. UAL's at 44 pre-market, 43 and change. So that's pretty bearish. We're going into this area. There is a gap way down here. How about this area? 42.14 was the close. So 42 and change right there could be support. Oops. Whoa. That was an accident. All right. Setting alerts right now for below 43. We'll see what happens on that one. Again, you can see the long-term pattern is extremely bearish, especially if we continue to lose this moving average right here. And the daily, same story. Had a terrible close in the daily, below the 200 period moving average. Got to recapture that for the bull case. Let's take a look at one more before I sign off here. Let's look at Apple really quick. So Apple hit 150, nice psychological area right on the nose. Apple's still extremely bullish, so you want to look for support on about 140. 139.57 is the 20 period. So nothing wrong with this chart. Kind of interesting how it's diverging from the rest of the market, which is pulling back. But Apple was lagging at first. And I talked about this a long time ago. I talked about how Amazon and Apple were lagging while we were making all-time new highs. And then Amazon and Apple kept pulling the market higher and higher and higher. And they're kind of, those stocks and a few more are basically supporting the entire market right now, which is probably a little sketchy, because if they start to lose footing, then the rest of the market's going to go down too. They hold a large weight in the SPY, and that's why we look at the IWM, and you can see IWM is melting away down to the 200-day moving average here at 206.45. That's going to be our next major support area, and I think pre-market was already like 210. So that's definitely a bearish indicator right there. So 208, we want to watch 208 today in the IWM. Let's look at SPY one more time. You can see the 20 period moving average is right here. Yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting how it's just can't seem to get any footing pre-market. We'll see what happens at 9:30 though. It could be a completely different story. You might get a completely different viewpoint that, you know, once we open up might change things completely. And maybe this is the low, but right now it looks like we're trying to test 425.89 again and possibly make another low pre-market. So I'm going to sign off now. I want to focus on this. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, don't let the trade